All right, we're here today in Trenton, New Jersey at Marazzo's Thriftway. This is the second installment, or rather a continuation of Big on a Budget. And today, we've got $100. In the last installment, we basically went into a store with $50 and we saw how much quality food we could buy, for a typical bodybuilding diet with $50. Now we've got $100, and the feedback on the first one was that it was great, and it allowed people to really maximize that $50 and go pretty far. But now with $100, we figure for those of you who have maybe gotten started with the 50, you've maxed it out, or for some of you guys who are maybe bigger guys, a little bit more advanced, we figured, okay, maybe we could put something out that allows us to see how much further we can get with 100. So we're gonna go inside, we're gonna check it out, and let's do it. $7 for a pie. Bad investment, low protein. Keep moving. Probably the best thing to do is we're going to start with the protein, kind of try to get that laid out, as that's going to be probably the bulk of the cost and probably arguably the most important part. So looks like it's this way. I figure chicken is probably, as always, usually going to be our best bang for the buck. Based on what I'm seeing here today, we've got chicken for breast for boneless, skinless breast for $3.49 a pound, and we've got thighs for $2.69 a pound. Again, similar to the last video, I'm probably going to opt for the thighs because I figure we can. That's another buck a pound we're going to save. One thing I want to aim to do in this video, for the sake of this one, is in the last one we had 2 chicken meals, 2 egg meals, and 2 shakes. With the meals containing the eggs, it's possible that someone who maybe more advanced or a little bit bigger could make the argument that you could beef up the protein in those meals. So that's what I'm going to try to do. I'm going to try to get a little bit more, because we know we're going to keep at least 1 meal of eggs, probably 2 meals of chicken, probably keep 2 meals of shakes. That gives us 5. It'd be good to add some type of red meat meal, and then on the meal with the eggs to beef up the protein in that one. So keep in mind this is totally spontaneous. So let's see what we can do. Let's see what we got here for pounds. $13.5 pounds. So swap out this pack with this one. Boom, perfect. 14 pounds. Alright. That takes care of protein for 2 meals. Let's get some eggs. We've got a dozen jumbos for $3.19 a dozen. So we're gonna roll with those. Get 18 large eggs for $3.19. And if you figured out protein-wise, it's actually cheaper for the large eggs. But to get the amount of protein, okay, say one jumbo's got 8 grams of protein. Do 6 of them, you got 48 grams of protein. 6 of the large ones, you're only at 36. So to get to that 40, you need to do 2 more eggs, which by then you've added another 9 grams of fat, and most people are usually going to say, oh, that's too much, or, that's too many eggs. So for that reason, we're going to stick with the jumbos. And again, we're going to need 4 dozen. Good. All right, 4 dozen. Let's see what we could do maybe with some red meat. Let's check it out. Alright, so we got ground meat, that's always an option. Just for 85% lean, we're still looking at $4.99 a pound. Best I'm seeing so far is the London broil at $3.99 a pound. It's looking to me right now like this is probably going to be our best bet. And if we're gonna say do 1 meal of it and then add maybe a little bit to the first meal, let's see, we're probably gonna need, I don't know. Luckily with that, because it's not a high fat content and it's not like beef, they generally don't add any type of retained water, any solution to it. It shouldn't really shrink up a lot when it cooks. So a pound a day, considering we're probably only gonna maybe add, say if we had 4 ounces to the first meal, that should increase the protein content. Should get about 6 grams an ounce out of it. So 4 ounces should give us, at minimum an extra 20 grams of protein. So that should jack that first meal from, about 48 grams to 68, almost 70 grams of protein. If we do another 8 ounces, 8 to 10 ounces as a meal, another 8 times 6 or 9 times 6, you should be able to get another 50 grams of protein in another meal. You know what, let's do that. Let's do that and figure on a pound a day. So let's go with 7 pounds of it. Okay, so I had a bright idea. I'm sitting here trying to think, how can we significantly improve this over last time, right? Because we got $100. So one thing that would have been good is to add some diversity to the diet, okay? Because it was a little bit monotonous. There was 2 chicken meals, 2 egg meals. The 2 chicken meals were identical and the 2 egg meals were identical. It'd be great to get some. I figured, okay, it'd be good to get some red meat in there. It'd be good to maybe say dump one of those egg meals. Let's just basically to switch it up. So what I thought of is, wait, what about cottage cheese? That was kind of a old reliable for me coming up because it was cheap, taste was good, and a lot of protein. So what we found was we could get a 1 pound tub of the store brand cottage cheese for $2.49. And if we check out the protein value, we're getting 14 grams of protein per serving, 4 servings in a container, 56 grams of protein per container. Not a bad bang for the buck, right? Paying $2.50 for 56 grams of protein. So what I'm thinking is, instead of my original plan to add some beef to the first meal and then a beef meal as a standalone, we're gonna put some of that beef back. And what that's gonna do is still allow us a meal of beef, but it's gonna free up some money to add the cottage cheese in, and that's still gonna leave us with enough money to go get our carbs and get some veggies. And basically what we got now is we're gonna have 2 meals of chicken, a meal of eggs, a meal of beef, a meal of cottage cheese. So now we're up to 5 meals. And compared to the last diet, the two chicken meals will be the same amount of protein, but the egg meal will have more protein than last time. We'll have a beef meal with more protein, and this cottage cheese meal will have more protein. So we're significantly bumping up the protein. We're getting the added nutrients with the red meat. And we just basically have a more diverse diet with more protein and calories overall. So overall, I think it's going to be a score. Let's do that. Let's grab this cottage cheese. Let's put some of that steak back, and then let's move on and see what we can do to nail down some carbs and some vegetables. All right, let's do it. I think we figured the same thing last time, that 1 tube of these is enough to give us 15 servings at 54 grams of carbs a piece. So basically it would give us 7 days, 2 servings a day for $3.89. But again, not wanting to replicate the last one. Let's realistically, what are our options for carbs? We got oats, rice, potatoes, pasta. What else? Bread. So let's see what we could do with rice. Let's check out the cost for rice. All right, a little mathematics. We're able to figure out that a 2-pound bag of rice is enough to give us 2 meals a day at about 50 grams of carbs a piece. Because in order to achieve that, we need 2/3 of a cup. Will give us 100 grams of carbs. This bag has enough for 7.5 days at that rate. So that's 100 grams of carbs a day from rice, which will basically give us two meals with rice as our carb source for 1 week for $1.89. All right. So basically, right now I'm aiming to add some potatoes to this and get some veggies to accompany some of these meals. The cottage cheese meal, we don't need to add any veggies to. I mean, if we do it really, really good and we have enough, then maybe we could add some fruit to the cottage cheese. Chicken meal, the chicken and basically the meals with the chicken and the steak, we want to add some veggies. So we need veggies for 3 meals a day times 7 days. So we need veggies for 21 meals. And in a perfect world, we could add some fruit to that cottage cheese. So let's go see what we can do. Again, I just happened to look over and I see problem solved. We got a 5-pounder for $1.99. It's definitely meant to be. That'll definitely cover us. That'd be more than enough for 7 meals. Be like perfect. Let's go see what we could do for some veggies and maybe even a little fruit. I'm looking at either zucchini or cabbage. Zucchini is about $1.50 a pound, and the cabbage I think is 99 cents a pound. So I'm thinking the cabbage. Let's see what a big head of cabbage, what it weighs. Basically what it's going to cost us. That's a jet taking off. That's a big head of cabbage. $6, basically, for a head of cabbage. I don't know. Something's gonna have to give. I mean, if the fruit, if we can't add bananas, we can't add bananas. Probably, I would say. I don't know. Our options are, the idea was to try to have veggies with 3 meals. To have veggies with the chicken and the steak meal. I guess which is more important, to have veggies with those 3 meals, or maybe to have veggies with 2 of those meals and then throw the bananas in. I mean, bananas are cheap. I guess it could depend on the goals. Obviously pre-contest, I wouldn't be worried about having bananas, but just for everyday diet, bananas are a good source of potassium, and just good for you, good for your intestines. Cabbage, obviously great for your digestion, good for intestinal health as well. It's something green. You definitely need something green in your diet. Right. I'm sitting here trying to find a way to make things work. And what I did was I added up all the chicken exact to see the exact weight. Now, all we needed was 2 pounds a day. Times 7 days, 14 pounds. Well, I added up and I had 15.65 pounds. Because, when I was putting it in the cart, I was just, rough estimating, adding up packages. So that frees up $4.14. We can have our bananas, and honestly, we could probably add a little bit more vegetables if we want. So this is really pretty good. I'm gonna go throw this back. We can get our bananas and see what else maybe we could add here. We've got a 7 banana bunch, and at 49 cents a pound. Let's weigh this up, see what we got. Looks like we probably got money to spare. I don't know how much and what we can really get for it, but assuming, we've maximized things pretty good. Want to make sure there's nothing I didn't take into account. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna run with this, and I think we're gonna be a couple bucks under. So let's go find out. On the way over, I was trying to think of a way to maybe fill those extra couple bucks that I think we're gonna have. And we got 5 apples for $2.28. So I'm gonna wait until put those on until last. And if we can get them in there, I'm gonna do that. It's almost an apple a day. So that would be pretty good. Let's just keep these here. Let's load everything else up. See what we got. Bad news. The good news is we're getting pears instead of apples, but the bad news is we're only getting 4 instead of 5. But I still consider it a success. So $99.88. What's that? Oh yeah. All right, thank you. Take care. So with a total of $99.88, I would say that this time around, although it took a bit more figuring and a bit more planning than last time, I'd say it's a success. We were able to add a whole nother meal. We were able to add some variety. There's going to be significantly more protein. Did it take more planning and figuring? Yeah, but that's to be expected. That's just how it is. Everything in this generally takes planning, especially when you're trying to maximize, every dollar you spend or maximize every set that you do. That's just I would say that's probably bodybuilding in general. But overall, I think it was. I think it was a success, and I think when we lay everything out, which we're going to go do in a little bit, and prep a day's worth of food and lay everything out, then once we figure all the macros out on top of it, I think you're going to see the difference. So let's go do that. It's pretty much all you need. Cooks a little bit quicker. Keep things simple. We're gonna cut it in half. Work on this chicken. Get these thighs going. Same thing. I'm gonna hit them with a little bit of oil, just so they don't stick to the pan. Hit them with a little bit of salt. Some paprika. some parsley. Obviously, you guys can do this any way you want. Okay, so we got the steak cooking, we got the chicken cooking. I threw some rice in the rice cooker, so that's going while we're doing this. Now I got the carbs. I'm gonna microwave these potatoes. I'm gonna throw some water in the oats, let them sit while these are cooking, and once the potatoes are done, I'm gonna throw the oats in there, and that'll take care of the starches for the day. And then the only thing left really to do after that is to cook the eggs, chop up the cabbage, and saute some of that. So, I mean, you can move this along pretty quickly. Always add some salt to your oats because it just makes it taste way, way, way better. I think our rice is done already. Alright. Give these a poke. So this right here will definitely be our easiest meal to prepare, because it's just cottage cheese. You know, depending on what your nutritional requirements or allowances are, you can certainly dress this up. Me personally, I always like adding a couple scoops of, like, you know, jam to it, like strawberry jam or whatever. The real way, the fat boy way, is to get the whole milk cottage cheese and then a couple scoops of preserves in there, and it's just like, it's like close to eating like cream cheese with jelly. You know, it's really good. But for this, we're just gonna, you know, just for simplicity's sake, maybe throw a little cinnamon on there, throw the banana on, and call it a meal. I'm gonna pull the steak off. I think it's kind of enough. I'll let it relax. Gotta make it look nice, you know? Saute and then kind of steam this cabbage with just some salt, pepper. Pretty simple, you know. It's actually, it's good maybe with a little bit of garlic. Now I'm going to get these eggs ready, and just, you know, for simplicity's sake, I'm just going to scramble them up. Nice and quick, nice and easy. Gotta knock out these eggs now. Potatoes, the first three are done. Waiting on the second three. Once those are done, we'll pop the oatmeal in the microwave. The cabbage is pretty much done. Pretty quick. And then we'll lay everything out so you guys can see, you know, what the whole day would look like. Parsley's always good in rice. All right, so here we're looking at what, based on our $100, our budget, what a typical day would consist of. We've got you've got 2 meals of chicken, a meal of eggs and oatmeal, a meal of steak, and a meal of cottage cheese with banana. Like I'd mentioned earlier, had I been thinking clearly, I'd have added the bananas to the oatmeal, chopped up the pears, put it with the cottage cheese. But it's a pretty substantial day, to be honest. Good enough. I mean, honestly, what you're looking at right here would be close to, like, say I was post-show and I was not in a full-blown off season, but I was kind of coasting. I could typically maintain about 270, eating a diet pretty similar to this. Maybe it would be, instead of 8 ounces of chicken, it would be closer to, say 10 or 12, but the rest of it would be pretty on. Here with 6 jumbo eggs, we got 48 grams of protein off the bat. Let's call it 50. A good amount of fats from the eggs, with a cup of oats. That puts us over 60 grams of carbs. And I mean, that right there is a pretty solid meal. We were able to add red meat to the diet this time, with about 8 or 9 ounces of red meat per meal. It's got to be, figure around, say 7 or so grams of protein per ounce. So you do the math, 60 plus grams of protein. Based on the way I did it today, I don't know, you would have to basically cook all the cabbage in advance to know how much you would have enough for, but I guess it's possible you could have enough so you could have at least some greenery with each of those meals with the meat, which I think is important. Some guys just protein, carbs, chicken and rice, steak and potato. I think it's important to have some vegetables in your diet to get those micronutrients to help keep your digestive system working as well as possible. Really, if somebody said, okay, I have $10, I can put it towards some more protein or I can have some vegetables, I would put it towards the vegetables. But that's just me personally. The chicken, we've got about 8 ounces of chicken, 2 cups of rice, cabbage, solid meal, 2 cups of cottage cheese with the banana. I mean, we're over 50 grams of protein there. And probably the carbs from the banana, it's not a ton, maybe say 25, maybe 30 grams. But by the time you add in, the carbs from the cottage cheese, you're probably close to 50 grams as well. There's certainly more variety this time around. You got the red meat, which you're going to get a substantial boost in nutrients from, B vitamins, and just great for muscle building all around. And we've got a whole nother whole food meal. So I think it's a win. So hopefully you guys enjoy, and that's about it.